ahead, Steve.
Hey, Karine, while this briefing's been underway, the National Archives has released some of the communications between the President's personal attorneys and the agency. One of them, dated on November 8th, has a communication between Gary Stern, who was the general counsel of NARA, and Bob Bauer, the President's attorney, in which it references boxes in a Boston office. It says, Pat, this is to Pat Moore, who's the President's personal lawyer. Pat, we would like to pick up the boxes that are in your Boston office and move them to the JFK library. Any explanation as to what boxes we're doing in a Boston office and how this relates to
Well, as you just mentioned, it just broke, or the report just came out while we were in the middle of a briefing, so I can't speak to it from here because I just don't know what you're speaking to. But I would refer you to the White House counsel's office to get more specifics or get you an answer there.
Is it new to you, the idea that the boxes would be...
I am learning about this as you were asking the question, so I'm certainly not going to speak to it from here. Go ahead, Andrea.
On the President's meeting today with the governors, he said during this meeting that Republicans are trying to close off the possibility of cutting defense spending and that leaves only a very few options. What is the President's view on how to get to the $2 trillion in cuts that he has outlined in the State of the Union address? What is the best way to get there, and does he rule out the possibility of cutting, for instance, defense spending?
So first and foremost, so folks know, March 9th, the President's going to be putting out his budget. We have asked the House in Congress, the Republican House, to put out their budget as well, a more robust, right, a budget, so we know exactly what it is that they are putting forth, the cuts that they want to put forth, and so that we can see, not just us, but the American people can see. As you just mentioned, the President said in his State of the Union address that he was going to cut the deficit by $2 trillion over a decade. I'm not going to get ahead of what the President's going to actually, the details or the specifics in his budget. Certainly once we put that out on March 9th, you'll be able to peruse and see exactly what the President is laying out. I'm just not going to get ahead of that. But I also want to add, and I've said this many times before, you've heard the President say this as well, this is a President, the first 2 years, he was able to cut the deficit by $1.7 trillion. He takes his fiscal responsibility very seriously. And he is going to continue to find ways to build an economy that doesn't leave anybody behind, but also is fiscally responsible, as I just mentioned.